part run them on the front too, just to sort of keep the power down. If I'm ever in open water, I'll run them back there and just... Yeah! Good morning everybody. So the morning adventures have taken me to a random vineyard looking for cardboard, which is the wrong place. I got told a place, so I just entered it in Google, but it turns out it's their home address, so it's not where I'm meant to be going. And I'm not actually going to head back there this morning because I can't be bothered. I'm pretty much on a little solo mission. I don't know about you guys or where most of you guys are, but I've had a hard time diving this summer. There's just been so much swell and so many easterlies that it's actually made it difficult, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm on a little mission this morning. It was actually meant to be a bit blowy this morning, and it's not. It's meant to be, and I'm sort of heading to a spot where I've dove from a boat, but haven't actually shore dove it, and I know I've heard that it's quite good. I've had it recommended, so it's apparently quite good shore diving. So we're going to get out there. I'm not going to tell you where it is, obviously. Should be out of the wind. Just going to get duck in for a little solo swim and see how we go. Would love to. I don't know what I feel like. A couple of snapper would be nice. I've got my bloody chili bin, so but I do have the fridge, and the fridge is on, so that might work. You've seen me bloody lose that king just as soon as I hit it. It just ripped. I've hit it a little high. I didn't really think, hit it right behind the head. I didn't really think it was as bad a shot as losing it. I wasn't that worried. I just pulled on him really hard to keep him out of the reef, just to sort of save my gear. But obviously a bit gutted. There's a ton of bait around here, and there's quite a few rat kids hanging around, so it's great sign. I've just seen a gannet dive over here, so obviously going to keep working this area and see if I can get my dinner. drove over, had a little munch, a little bit of food as it's already 1 o'clock on Saturday. Overall, a bit of a hard slog. Really glad I went where I went, because the wind, there's white caps out there now and it's fair blowing. So got a little goatfish, John Dory, much to my surprise at the end, and a butterfish. So kind of a nice mixed bag. Still gutted, still kicking myself about that kingy. Obviously, that's pretty much, well, no, I'm not going to say absolute worst case scenario when losing a fish, because it was a high sort of loin shot. I'm actually surprised it ripped off at all, to be honest. The only thing worse than that is something that probably is considerably more terminal, like a big gut shot, or you know, something that looked to be more in the vitals, because there's still a chance that that fish survives. But yeah, certainly not ideal. It's home time, it's work time, it's Saturday afternoon, Danny's away for the weekend, so just going to punch in a few hours pretty much on the clock. Right, to wrap up this video, I'm just pretty much just going to give you a rundown of the equipment I'm using. Most of it, for the most part, is pretty simple, like gloves, socks, things like that are generic. I don't think there's going to be a bit of brand here and there, because they're pretty much consumable. Currently, right now, I am running just a 3mm Weddy suit. This is a couple of years old, and it is certainly showing its signs of its age. It does have a couple little rips. One leaves a nice bloody, where would that be? Nice sunburn mark on my butt from a little ride up a reef I had a couple of years ago. And I just haven't fixed it because it's a warm suit, but I probably should get around to fixing up a couple of these things. Nice suits, of course. Just like I mentioned, generic gear all round. I have just updated masts and got a couple spares. Now these come from Splash Spearfishing on the Shore. The red tint, I don't know if the red tint helps you see anything more. Of course, you do lose the red colour underwater, and I'm assuming that's what the theory is to help you see a bit more colour. I don't know if it makes any difference personally. Nice mask, pretty affordable. Again, just generic stuff through there. Floats and all that, for the most part, are pretty irrelevant. A set of my fins, now those are a carbon glass thing. Really, I rate them. I really like my fins. I'm pretty bloody low on stock, and have been very low on stock with them for quite a while. I'm really a little unsure on development, where I'm at, what I'm going to be doing with them, but I do need to get a few more pairs churned out. And of course my gun, probably arguably one of the most, if not the most important parts of any spare setup. Just one of my Alpo Model 110 wood gun. I've run the same stock for, I don't even know, geez, it's got to be a couple of years now. Really just a really nice stock, and 110. You can see we've got a hunt reel on there. These ones fit about 43 meters of 2mm Dyneema. This is, what's that called, fine line New Zealand made Dyneema. Of course, two 16mm bands, a 7.5mm pathos shaft. One thing you will have seen with that kingy ripping off, now I didn't expect it to rip like that, because it was a little high, the shot, but it wasn't really high, and this shaft has been in use for a long time, and I just feel this point here, I haven't taken an official measurement, but this point here is getting a little short, which is then prone to ripping, you know, because there's not as much shaft poking out, so the actual amount of leverage you can get is much more susceptible to ripping. I don't have a better way to explain it, but obviously the longer that is, if you can imagine, if you don't have a shaft that long, but if that was that long out the front, it wouldn't want to lever itself on a fish and pry out. So I mean, it's the first fish I've ripped off in quite a while, so I might just have a look over what stock I have here and replace this. This, as mentioned, is a 7.5mm pathos shaft. I don't really rate the pathos shafts too much. They are pretty bendy. This has been straightened over my knee in the water like 20-30 times, because they do bend, and therefore they do wear the tips blunted pretty easily, especially if you're just ploughing rocks, which you tend to do while shooting johnnies. So yeah, that's basically just a rundown of gear. I do, of course, as most of you would know, do have a couple of very similar but better setup 110s sitting here in stock with reels, with everything on them. Aussie reels, just basically the most durable and good looking and high performing 110s for the most part, I think. a double rubber 110 like that, around reefs even have a bit much power. Everyone's raving about roller guns and things at the moment, how much power they have in a short compact gun, but a twin rubbered 110, a well set up gun, packs considerably more punch than like a 90 roller. And for the most part, I wish I actually had less power. They have. You've got 3 hooks back here on the shafts. Of course, you can go right to the back. I, for the most part, run them on the front too, just to sort of keep the power down. If I'm ever in open water, I'll run them back there, and just a bowline knot, of course, tied. Just to keep the dynamo on. I don't believe in running mono. I think just less breaking points the better. That's it. That's cool. Pretty fun dive the other day. I'm Sam Price. I'll see you at the beach.